Alright, my man, you got my man Jase.
What's going on?
Alright, so if you didn't know, this is my business mentor and PT, Jase. Jase, what's happening?
Nothing much. We're down at Momentum Live at an event today, talking, seeing, connecting, networking. So yeah.
Good. So Jase runs a figure business. He's got thousands of clients, had thousands of clients. Jase, how do you do it? Talk to me, what's the mindset?
Structure, SOP, standard operating procedures, having structure, having a team, being able to delegate to your team, having a team that sort of take the stress off you, a team that you trust. So the main thing is obviously running a schedule, quite a deep, granular schedule, focusing on the business, the back end of the business, understanding the KPIs, the SOPs, and having great management. Great management's going to move the needle because it allows you to take a step back.
Good, I like it. All right, someone's asked, does Jase know about your antics from your last cut?
We got to give every client benefit of the doubt. When someone says they've had a perfect week, I take it with a pinch of salt sometimes and say, there's 10% discrepancy, but it's all right because he got in shape regardless. You know, every prep you learn new habits, and every prep gets easier.
No, I see the same guy that asked you this. Remember that 1 week after the sheds were done and you were like, all right, we'll get you back to maintenance calories for a little bit after the holiday. Then I was taking the piss a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, and remember that weekend I went away with the boys?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I thought it was like someone else watching it. My boy was sending him videos of me munching Ben and Jerry's burgers and that.
Dropping him in it. That's a good friend.
No, he's not.
That's a good friend. Do that more often.
What would be a good way to get your name out as a beginner PT?
Personality. Showcasing your personality. People buy into people. You know, as a beginner PT, if you haven't got results, you've got a voice to voice education, to voice what you can do, to voice your values, your ethics, and how you can help people. So I think getting yourself out, like I always saw myself as an authoritative figure before I was an authoritative figure, and seeing yourself as the busy PT before you're the busy PT. You got to see, I always say that massively.
No, for sure. Just be you in it, that's it. What are your thoughts on fat shaming? Like, you know, my posts sometimes I'm like, oh, Muslim men shouldn't be fat. I'm quite direct. What's your thoughts on the way I do it and just in general?
I think it suits your personality and your demographic. You know, you've got a male demographic. There is a sort of, you know, your demographic's Muslim men. There's a little stigma of how Muslim men should carry themselves anyway. And I think you can get away with that with your brand. But if we did that to another brand, I think it would... You'd be demonized, do you know what I mean? But it works for you. You know, there's more positives than negatives. Some clients like to be called out like that. But again, it's understanding coaching and client styles.
Okay. No, good answer. Why do you reckon so many South Asians, Pakistani men are skinny fat? It's like an actual pandemic.
I feel it is from habits embedded from the culture as young. Dal. Is it dal?
Dal.
Yeah, that's the issue. But no, I think obviously food is very oil-based, it's very dough-based, and just not understanding where we can have that in moderation. I'm one of the brothers, where you can have that in moderation, whereas now you understand where you can have it, how often you can have it, and it's not you can't have it, it's the frequency of what how much times you're having it per week. So I feel like respectfully in the South Asian community and culture, now there's great coaches, my pals at Ayub and stuff like that, and the knowledge isn't there. Like I don't really go on Instagram and I'm like, that's a great pioneer for fitness from the South Asian demographic. Whereas now as fitness is evolving, I feel like South Asia are the last ones on the fitness train. But now I'm seeing a lot come through and I'm like, all right, that will translate down over the next few years.
Yeah, no one was looking after them, but now we've got people like me and Bilal, other people looking after them.
There's a lot going through now.
You can keep this one private, but you mentioned, I never knew this, in the seminar there, that you started NLP therapy. How come, and what's your thoughts on that?
Because I think like as a business owner, not NLP therapy, like, I need therapy. I self-thought it so hard, I look at things like what's going to get me to the next level. If I know why I'm constantly chasing box ticking, I'm going to understand that and I'm going to be able to utilize that to the best of my benefit. So for me, it was like, you will say to me sometimes, you're a machine, but why am I a machine? What is it? Am I looking for a place of fulfillment from work? And so I think it's good to find essentially your why. It helps you find your why, because as much as I've got one, it can get skewed as the business gets bigger, because you stop looking internally and you just start being, I need to move the business, need to do this, need to do more, need to do. So when I saw that, there was like, why do you need to do more? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I would definitely say NLP therapy is great. No, you need to oil the machine. That is your mind in it. That's it. That's 100%. The one. And someone else is going to see things from a different perspective than yourself. No, 100%. See, for the lazy brothers out there, and they want to be financially and physically successful, what's your words of advice for those brothers? understand what it takes to get there. And I always say, have a goal, reverse engineer your way to it. So this is the goal. How am I going to get to that 3K month? How many clients do I need? All right, to get 10 clients, how much content do I need to put out? How many conversations do I have? How many, do you know what I mean? To work out how you're actually going to get there. Whereas people throw out figures and goals with no sort of structure and plan.
No, you need a goal in mind and then work back the way. Jase, what questions have you got for me?
Why, when you launch a brand, did you want to only help South Asian males?
So I can relate to my brothers because I understand their struggles. And the main thing for me is when it comes to fitness, it ties in with your deen. I'm a big believer, and you are too, of how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you are so disciplined on your fitness, on your diet, you're waking up 5 a.m, you're going gym, you're doing your cardio, you're not missing a meal, your protein's on point, bro, that's going to translate into your deen. You're not going to miss a prayer. Fajr time, you're up. 5 a.m. Zohar time, you're there. So I wanted to help them to do that and help my Muslim brothers be better Muslims through fitness, essentially.
And what are your self-auditing I was talking about heavily, what are your biggest bottlenecks in yourself? Name 2 of them, and what are you going to do to change them?
2 of them, I think sometimes structuring my day is quite poor sometimes. Like I'm like at 9 a.m. to 12, I'm going to do client check-ins, but then that ends up going over, then the next thing spills. So I'm just trying to be more efficient. Just have a structure and stick to it a bit properly. That's for me.
Even if you're going over, just give yourself a buffer period. I might be like, oh, this task's going to take to 1, but I've got 30 minutes buffer, because subconsciously the psyche is going to be like, fuck, I've not hit that deadline, then overwhelm. But just give yourself a buffer. Like any task I got and I'm like, oh, it's going to take 4 hours, I block up 4.5.
No, that makes sense. I've got one last question for you actually, because what's your faith on that? I've never asked you. Christian, atheist?
I believe in God and Christian, yeah.
Christian?
I'm open, do you know what I mean? Like I've got a lot of Muslim brothers, but I'm directly Christian from family beliefs.
Okay. Is that just because it's like a normality within your family, or is it
I think it's just normality over years. Massively, but I respect all cultures, religions. I put my ear to the ground with all of them.
Okay. No, because just off talking to you, I was quite surprised at how much you know about Islam and that. Like you're talking about jinns, you're talking about Jummah, and I was like, oh, one of my clients is going to Saudi for something. You're like, not for something, he's going for Umrah.
He was talking it down, and I knew. But no, I lived in Dubai for a long time, and obviously I'm from London, North London as well. It's heavily, I would say, Muslim predominant. But when I lived in Dubai, like I always had an interest massively, and some of my close friends, all my close friends are actually Muslim following faith.
I like it. We need to revert brother Jase over here, man.
Be over, I'll do my shahada.
What would your new name be?
Mohammed
Jase over here.
Mohammed Najaf Shah.
Najaf Shah, that's it. All right, thank you very much for the video, my man. Thanks for the Q&A.